doctor title so occasionally now that many people don't understand what it actually takes to earn that title. So I'm just touching on this topic because I've been seeing a lot going around about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, and because I went through the process to become a doctor, I kind of understand the process. And I just want to talk about it a little bit. I'm not here to say she is or isn't a doctor, but I'm just going to give you some tips how you can know for sure, especially if you're in my generation, you know. Because it's not so easy. You even have proof of going through the process. You have proof of the sleepless nights. You have proof of the writing process. I didn't have to do a dissertation because I'm a dentist, but I do have clinics and old books, just so much material that you leave from school with that it's impossible to not be able to, produce proof of some kind, especially if you're a proud doctor like myself. You know, you will not forget the sleepless nights, the anxiety, the loans, the exams, the humiliation that you feel during the process if stressed out, the burnout, the sacrifices your family never ever sees. I didn't wake up and just magically become Dr. Sean. On here, I may go by Dr. Chiefly Sunflower. That's just like my Niji indigenous name because I came into the knowledge of my genealogy. So I said, I need something to fit into that. But when it comes to producing a degree, transcripts, this is a must. You can't get a job without, having your license number, or you can't get a job without having your national provider ID. It's certain different things that you need in order to be able to prescribe medicine and do these different things. So it's just not like, oh, well, I don't have any proof. Somewhere you have some type of proof, you know. And patients like to see that, hey, what school did you go to? You want to hang your degree and stuff right on the wall. You see me, I stream with this graduation picture here. Not to prove nothing, it's just because I'm so proud of this moment that I will never hide it or lose it, or it's all over the internet. No way to hide it. So that hood on your shoulders when you go from hood to hooded, that hood comes with a lot of pain. It comes with a lot of sacrifice. It comes with years of sacrifice, honestly. It comes with years of doubt, years of surviving systems designed to break people who come from where I come from. It's designed to weed you out. Let's just be honest. So today we're talking about the real cost of becoming a doctor and why people need to respect the process. So that's why there's such an uproar. I've seen Dr. Cheyenne on different platforms, and I just always thought that her credentials are legit. I'm never assuming that nothing is not legit. I'm going to believe you if you say you're a doctor and you did the work, then hey, we've been in the trenches. But recently it's just coming out like, oh, she didn't prove that she's a doctor, she did it. And she's saying, hey, I don't have to prove nothing to y'all. I am who I say I am, but at the same time, people are like, wait a minute. If you on social media and you don't really have pictures, transcripts, things like this, it poses a problem for people. So I don't know. I'm not here to, dispute it or say that it's true or false, but we're gonna go down what it actually takes to get to this level. Alright? So let me just do a sound check. And we're gonna dive into this conversation. Come in the room, tap those hearts. I really need a fan. I got too many colds. It's so cold here in New York. Well, it might not be cold to New Yorkers, but to me, it's where it is the summer. Anywho, this episode, just for clarification, this episode is not about tearing anyone down. It's about respecting education, respecting sacrifice, understanding credentials, understanding the difference between influence qualification, and telling the truth about what it took for you, well, what it took for me to become a dentist, and what it takes for most people to get that qualification to call yourself a doctor. All right. So I'm definitely not here to attack Dr. Cheyenne Bryant at all. I'm just here to add some insight to the conversation because I hear people like, "Hey, you didn't prove yourself." You know, this conversation really made me think deeply about what the word doctor really means from my perspective. So from hood to hood, we're gonna paint the picture of, for me, what that actually means. So you see me wear this on my shirt, hood to hood. You see the podcast is called Hood to Hooded because I came from the hood, literally, and got hooded as a doctor. So that's where that whole little brand comes from. It's like, it's a proud moment. I'm going to exploit my doctor title and the hard work in my brand. I'm going to exploit it in my career, in my life, on my wall. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. You know, it's not something that you hide when you have the proof. So I have Tallahassee roots coming from Florida. So I'm a Florida girl, you know what I'm saying? So many people be like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Florida." They're like, "Oh, I can tell you got an accent." Yes, I'm a Florida girl, born and raised, you know. And not only that, I'm melanated. I'm indigenous to this land. And these systems were not built for people like me to make it. It just wasn't. Can we just be honest? It just wasn't meant for me to get to a level of having a career that requires so much work. That's why a lot of the courses that are prerequisites are meant to weed you out. They're not meant to like invite you into this doctoral space. They're meant to weed you out. All right. Also, you know, I'm a Florida State University graduate. So not only did I live in Tallahassee, born and raised, but I went to Florida State University of South Florida and then ultimately Meharry Medical College. The great Meharry Medical College, might I add. Okay, I had 60 classmates. We was in the trenches together. Oh, hold on. I forgot to put y'all live on Instagram. My bad. Before we get deeper into this conversation, make sure you are tapping those hearts on TikTok. We're trying to get to 1K hearts every live. So if you come in the room, make sure you tap those hearts. If you're on YouTube, hype me up. If you're on Facebook, tap those hearts. And if you're on any platform, make sure you share so that we can find other like-minded people. Anywho, so the doctor journey from hood to hood, it comes with dental school stress, of course, in my journey. It comes with board exams. You know, you have to take 2 board exams, and then you have to take a licensure, or you have to do a residency. So as you go along this process to becoming whatever type of doctor you are becoming or have become, you are collecting all types of data. You must collect all types of board exams to make sure that you are qualified during this entire process. You're going to have some proof, okay? You're going to have proof left and right because they're going to make sure you're ready, especially if you're doing like a in-person doctoral degree. Back in my time, you know, I graduated school in 2004, so I'm around the same age as Dr. Bryant, and I'm just going to call her doctor because that's what she go by, and I'm not going to take her title away because I don't have proof that she is or isn't. I'm just telling you what proof that she could possibly have to deny the claims that y'all say that she's not a doctor. Totally different. And the reason why I say it's totally different is because back when I was going to school, they wouldn't even allow me to submit online classes. Like, you had to go in person. There was no way you were going to take an online chemistry class and think that you were going to get into dental school. That just wasn't happening. They frowned upon it, actually. It wasn't until COVID 2020 where online classes became normal and they now have become the standard for some cases. Except dentistry, this is just something that you must do in person. Nobody is getting a doctoral degree in dentistry online because it's just impossible. How many of you would trust a dentist in your mouth who did not go on campus and actually do pursue clinical work, all 4 years of dental school, and then you need 4 years of prerequisites to even get to dental school. So you're gonna have all types of records, letters of recommendation, volunteer hours. I'm just talking about my doctoral. Okay, so people might see the diploma, but they don't see the breakdown behind the diploma. That's why people are like, "Where's the diploma? Where's the diploma?" Because you got that diploma. Listen, doc, you can shed it. Stop. You can shed them out with the diploma. If you don't have the diploma, you gotta have some type of picture, some type of something to shed them up. And if, God forbid, I ever lost my diploma, I'm gonna need to find a way to reprint it because this is like a piece of gold to me. You know, this thing is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in education, right? It just is. So that's what we are talking about today. Now, a lot of people who are publicly looking at this, little drama online, they maybe don't understand the process of what it actually takes to become a PhD, any type of doctor. PhD, they have to do a dissertation, so that's a lot of writing. And me, honestly, guys, when it came to degrees that required writing, I'm not gonna even hold you. Like writing dissertations and things like that, I was never a fan of doing any type of degree that required like thesis and writing. Listen, I don't want to do it, so I'm not gonna be a PhD because you need that proof. And if you do that much writing and studying and you do your dissertation, you want to be able to toot your horn because that is not easy. That is a lot of work. And I'm telling you, I'm gonna have my dissertation on some type of hard drive, floppy disk, or something. All right. So when you talk about you can't find my records, I'm gonna be like, what is that about?
Oh, hell no, man. What the?
I'll be like, what? So let's break down what it actually takes to become a dentist because that's my lane, that's what I know about, and you can kind of see how much evidence you can provide when you're going through this route. Not that I ever have to provide evidence, I just pull out my doctoral degree. And once you become a dentist, you really use your license as your verification. Because if you have your license, this is proof that you have turned in your copy of your degree. You have given them copies of your board exams or whatever the state that you're practicing in requires. If you don't have these things and you don't have a license, really you don't have permission from the state to do whatever your degree is in. And if you do it without a license, it's very risky. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you're carrying that doctor title and you don't want to use your license, that is a red flag because it's like, why not get the license? Yes, it comes with a lot of requirements, but this makes you legit. It's kind of like your degree. You need your degree because this is what makes you legit. So if you're in undergrad and you're trying to become a dentist, you will need all of the prerequisites. You will need a science load. You will need a certain GPA requirement. You can't just be like, well, I took all the science classes you need, but I don't have the right GPA. You need that GPA to get into dental school. It's very, very competitive. So that's why when people get in and they get out, they gonna toot their horn. I mean, you have to toot your horn. What about the dental admissions test? This is another test that is required before you get into dental school. So you'll see, I wouldn't dare go like, hey, I am a doctor, here's my DAT score, because that test is so long ago and I have other credentials way after that that would prove that point. So that test is preparation. It's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of competition. I know for me, I only took the dental admissions test one time, and I refused to take it again because it's not easy. And during my time of studying for that exam, I was working for the state of Florida, studying every day after work. My job was from 8 to 5, and at 5 o'clock is lunch. Well, it's kind of like eat dinner, and it is studying all night. On the weekends, studying from like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. to the middle of the night, all weekend. So this is your schedule basically for a couple weeks, maybe I would say 3 months. If you really want to take this test seriously, you have to cut everybody off, everything off, and prepare yourself. Because guess what? There's somebody out there who's going to prepare better than you. So you got to go hard as you can. Don't go and take these exams, these tests, any type of test that you're taking to get to the doctoral level or to get into a doctoral program or a master's program. You really got to take these tests serious. You can't be playing around, partying all the time, and think you can wake up and go take the test. You need to take practice tests. You need to study all the time. You need to just have this test etched into your brain so that when you sit down, you're not fumbling, you're not fearing, you just breezing through the test. Things you don't know, mark it, set it so you can come back and look at it, but keep going. Like, it's a lot of pressure. Then after that, you get to dental school or whatever type of doctoral program curriculum that you're going to need to get to the next level. This is, for most people, 4 years of brutal training. It is brutal. Now, if it's online, now see, after I went to Florida State University, I did master's courses at the University of South Florida. And this was some online classes. Not my prerequisites. This is just classes that I could take online, but part of it was in person where I had to go take my exams in person. But some of those online classes, I can't even hold you, were some of the hardest classes I ever, well, let me not say ever took. Some of the hardest classes I had ever taken up until that point, the master's classes. And that was because it was a lot of writing involved. And I took this class, I took 2 classes one summer thinking, oh, I could take these little master's classes during the summer and be cool. Do you know my whole summer was basically non-existent because these classes took me up and through there. I had to work 8 to 5, get off, study, do all of these papers, and then my professor was a hard grader. There was no chat GPT, there was no AI, so you have to write the papers on your own. For the kids out there, yeah, we didn't have the luxury of having all of these apps and helpful things like Grammarly and, the things that help you write. You had to really think of it out of your own brain. That's why it will never be another generation like the ones before AI or ChatGPT, because these things kind of, I wouldn't say baby people, because you still have to read when you use it and use your own brain to get the prompt, but it just kind of erases a lot of brutal studying and writing that we had to do. Okay, I feel for the teachers out there now, because how do you decipher if it's written by AI or the student? If they can get AI to write it, go through and change a couple things, you get what I'm saying? So I don't know how this is going to impact the students of the future, the students of now, and the doctors of the future. I just don't know. Okay. Now with dental school, this also comes with so many competencies you must pass and achieve: practical exams, patient requirements, clinical quotas, studying while you're exhausted for 4 brutal, long years. Now, my time in dental school, I made sure to take lots of pictures, not because I wanted evidence, because it's like, oh, shit, I'm in dental school. It's like, oh, I'm here. It's like, yeah. It's one of the best feelings in your life when you get into one of those programs and you're just in it. I mean, just to be in it is, I don't know. When I started dental school 14 years ago, that is crazy. That's really crazy. I was trying to find a cool sound, but maybe I can't. So it's like dental school. You'll be like,
Are you winning, son? Dad, no, I'm not. And Dad, it's taking its toll. The last 3,000 hours I've played this game.
okay, it's like hours and hours and hours. At first, you're not winning, but if you keep going, you will definitely be a winner and achieve these higher level programs, bachelor's, master's, doctoral degrees. Okay. What about licensing? Because a lot of people are talking about, she's not licensed. Dr. Cheyenne is not licensed, and where's her board exams? So the licensing is important. For me as a dentist, I can't practice without a license. I have to protect my license. You must take CE courses, which is continuing education courses to keep your license. And if you let that lapse or you do something where you lose your license, this is a big problem. Now, I've heard her say, hey, I let my license go because it's too many requirements and I can see more people without it. Hey, this is a pivot that she made in her life. I don't know. Some people make these pivots. I've heard about dentists who stop dentistry and become realtors because they want to pivot. It's all about the person. So, I don't know. We live in an internet age where everything is under scrutiny. Especially when you call yourself a doctor. People are definitely going to check you out to make sure you are legit. So one thing is, on this internet, make sure, or even off the internet, make sure the person you're going to for professional help is actually licensed. And if they don't have a license, at least they're telling you that they don't have a license. And if you still go, maybe you're just like, you just want to be seen by them. Maybe it's the celebrity status. I don't know, but be careful, especially when it comes to dentistry. Too many times they have people who do dentistry, veneer techs, all of these different people performing dentistry without a license. The problem is something happens where they mess up your mouth because they don't know the full scope of dentistry. They don't know the biology, the biochemistry, the chemistry. They don't know the dental anatomy. They don't know all the details that it takes to be a doctor. When you are a doctor, especially a dentist, there are details involved that you cannot skip. Just because you make something look nice does not mean it is safe. Okay? So let's talk about the difference between influence and credentials. Right? As we live in the influencer era where everyone is influencing somebody else, and there is a difference between being an influencer and having your credentials. In the social media area, era, with being viral, influencing, podcasting, coaching, all of these titles, everyone has a different perception. So a lot of people are influencing you. Influence means that you have power. This means that you kind of have a slight bit of control over other people and possibly the journey that they may take because of your knowledge. Especially if you're talking about like mental health and therapy, you're actually leading people and guiding people. So in that space with the PhD therapist space, for me, if I wanted to go to someone and seek mental health counseling, I would probably choose someone who has a license versus someone who doesn't have a license. But nowadays, if you have fame, some people look at this as having a license just because you have an audience, I would say. Okay? So influence, there's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with being a motivational speaker, nothing wrong with being a life coach. But once you start to add titles, this matters because people start to trust your title. If you call yourself a doctor, they're like, oh, you're a doctor. See, me, I don't question people who call themselves a doctor. Unless they got like an honorary degree, then we know that this is an honorary degree. We know that you didn't really do the work in a normal sense. Like a lot of people get honorary musical doctoral degrees, but these are people who have mastered music. They have been in the trenches. They recorded. And when it comes to like music behind the scenes, that's a lot of knowledge, a lot of work. So they kind of get a pass for that specific degree. You know what I mean? But when you talk about dealing with health, dealing with teeth, dealing with the body, this is totally different. You really need to have your license and your board exams and be able to have your doctoral degree, because to be licensed you need your doctoral degree or a copy of it. I have so many copies of my degree, the official copy of the degree, and plenty of copies like on my hard drive. Right? So when you say doctor and you're using that publicly, people assume that you had years of verified training, examinations, accountabilities, and oversight, which is kind of what we just went over. Like, you need all of these different steps to even get to the doctor title. It doesn't just appear. You need the beginning, the middle, the end, the board exams, the this, the that. And I guarantee you, once you get to that part of the journey, you're going to take a couple pictures. I know I was live when I graduated from dental school. Live wasn't really popping then. It was on Periscope. None of my classmates went live. Like, nobody at graduation was really live. It was just Dr. Sean was live. I was known as the live queen at that time at my school. Like, I'm always live. I just love being live and just documenting my journey. So that doesn't mean that all people were live, but I was live. So I'm taking pictures, just recording the whole moment. And maybe that's because I came from the hood and I couldn't really believe that I did my time and I was at this point to cross the stage and finally be entering my dream career, right? So why did this conversation trigger me personally? And I wouldn't say I was really triggered. I just keep seeing people talk about, oh, Dr. Cheyenne's a fraud. Oh, she don't have proof. And I see her interviews and she's like, I don't have to have proof. And I'm like, dang, this is really gotten out of hand, huh? Like, it's really gotten out of hand. And a lot of people are attacking her on the internet, saying that she is a fraud. And I've seen some pretty nasty memes on, Threads. So I'm like, dang, that's sad. I kind of feel sorry for her. And I hope that this university, Argosy, actually gives her proof of her degree so she can shut people up who doubt her. But in the event that she doesn't have this proof and she didn't really go through the process, then that's going to be pretty bad either way. But we all I'm always sending positive vibes to all the doctors because it's not easy. It's not easy for me being a melanated, niche dentist in this world. I face so many obstacles every single day, but that doesn't stop me. It's not easy when you're talking about the debt, the years that you lose of your youth trying to pursue this career, because it is years of hard work, and it's normally your younger, more precious, fun years that you have to dedicate and sacrifice to this career. They don't talk about the mental pressure that comes along with this path, the family pressure, the ownership stress, especially if you have your own practice. It's a lot of stress that's involved. Poverty, still chasing you despite your achievements. That's why Hood to Hood is important, because even though you go through this process, poverty, you start in poverty, and poverty still kind of chases you as you achieve this goal until you finally get far, far away from it. But it definitely takes hard work to get to that point. Imagine grinding your whole life for something, right? And then, watching social media makes the process look optional. Like, oh, well, I'm a doctor. That's why so many people are speaking out, because so many people have done gruesome hours of writing, theses, clinical hours, just grinding. So when we see another one of us come across that stage, it's nothing but respect. Like, you did that. You got that title? I know you did that. So when somebody walks around, like there was a young guy, he opened up a dental practice. He was treating. I think he was like an MD. He was pretending to be. No, he was trying to be a dentist. He had his own dental practice. I don't know how he got past like. I don't even know how he did it. He had his own practice, no license, no nothing. He had patience. I don't know. Some people have the genius ability to be a doctor, and if they can't really go through the process because it's a long process, they might go a little insane and start pretending like they're a doctor. Like this one guy, he got closed down, he opened back up again, he got closed down, and he opened back up again. I'm like, dang, just go to school. But the school part, that's not the easy part. You know, putting on the white coat, that's the easy part, but the knowledge, that's not easy, right? So a lot of us will be like, hey, I didn't just earn this title, I survived for this title. I didn't just earn it, survive, meaning you gonna go through ups and downs, hell and high water sometimes to get to this point. So you have to respect the work, respect the trades, respect the education, the experience, and respect the process. So everybody doesn't need to become a doctor to be valuable, but whatever path you choose, respect the process, right? And a lot of people don't even talk about the hidden costs that it takes to get through this journey. They don't talk about the burnout, the debt, the depression, the anxiety, the imposter syndrome. They don't talk about maintaining the image, the pressure to succeed, the comparison culture. They don't talk about that. Not at all. They just don't. And they don't talk about the people who have their degrees but lost themselves trying to survive the journey. Now, I was in a situation where I could have lost myself trying to survive the doctoral journey. I had family pressure. I had to, raise kids in dental school. I had to do so many outside things during that process that really could have made me fail and almost lose myself. Getting sick during the process, really almost losing myself during that. Like having this chemo drug in my body and still having to come out on the other side with my head held high, shoulders back, proud. It's very tough. But that doesn't mean that you can't not only earn the degree, but you survive the degree. So when you get to the end, you will have proof of your degree. Period. You gonna have proof. Alright? So I can see both sides of the argument, but I really see the side where people are like, well dang, where is the proof? Where is the proof? Find the proof. There is proof, doc. But maybe some people feel like I'm not proving nothing to nobody. So whether you become a doctor, an entrepreneur, a creator, an artist, a truck driver, a plumber, a teacher, a business owner, a lawyer, whatever you become, an author, the president, the vice president of a company, whatever you do, don't fake the process. Don't pretend like you a veneer tech. Don't pretend like you a dentist, an MD, licensed clinical therapist. Don't pretend. Don't skip the work because it is going to come back and haunt you. You want to be able to sleep at night. Don't cheapen the sacrifice at all. Because one thing life teaches us is that the truth always comes to the surface. And real work leaves receipts. It just leaves receipts. Like you can't move on unless you have the receipts. Okay? So that's how I feel about it. I'm just saying respect the process and don't skip the work. So I'm still in love with the doctor. I don't know if I could call her. I don't know. I'm still in love. I'm going to still call her Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. And yeah, she's all over the internet right now. Not in a good way, but in a crazy way. So Argosy, I hope y'all help Doctor out and get her credentials so she can silence the people. I'm hoping. Alright? But on another note, we are live. And I'm just chilling here today. I'm going to try to do a longer live for you guys. So make sure you come on in the room, tap those hearts, and we could just talk a little bit more about the real sacrifice and having those receipts, guys. Okay, we're gonna play our song. We glow. You gotta let them know when you glow and you get to this part. You can't let nobody play with you. You can't let people doubt you. You can't get caught up in your feelings. When you go through the process, keep those receipts not only for yourself, just because it feels good when you make it through these long journeys, these long programs, bachelor's degrees, master's degrees. Each level is required, you know. Every level is very, very important. Don't feel like one level is not as important as the next. Because if you're building a foundation for your future and you want to become a doctor and you know that you need your bachelor's degree, then you're going to need to do that, and you need to do it well. And be proud of yourself during the whole process. Like, let's go, because I haven't checked the requirements lately. Let's see what the requirements are for dental school in 2026. Like, if I was trying to get into dental school, what would be the requirements? Let's pull it up. What's up, TikTok?
Sun kiss, so rich, we don't chase lights. We are light. We glow, better let 'em know. We glow, better let 'em know. Sun hit the skin, watch the whole vibe glow. We glow, better let 'em know. We glow, better let 'em know.
Alrighty, so the requirements to get into dental school 2026. I haven't looked up these requirements in a little minute. So if you out there, you're trying to become a dentist, which I think we definitely need more melanated dentists. There's only about 3% of us out here. Maybe a little bit lower, a little bit more, but you know, not many of us out here. So especially if you are a male, a man, melanated, we need you in the field. You know, because there's not a lot of us. Alright, so requirements for dental school in 2026. It says to apply to dental school in 2026, you'll need a strong academic record. Completed science prerequisites, a competitive dental admission test score, and relevant clinical exposure. What does this mean? This means if you want to become a dentist and you want to even just apply to get into dental school, you need all of these different things. A strong academic record. What does that mean? This means you pretty much need near perfect grades, and if you don't have near perfect grades, you need a reason why. I didn't have near perfect grades, but I definitely had the story to match why my grades weren't like perfect. That's why the hood to hood matters, because I wouldn't have made it through dental school or into dental school if I had not told my story and why the process for me to get straight A's was definitely possible, but I had to work. I had work experience. I had 2 to 3 jobs. I had, just me backing up this experience. No parents really guiding me, no legacy, no dentists in the family, no nothing. Just me on a mission, being an ambitious young lady, refusing to allow society to clock me out my dreams, right? This is the type of mentality that you have. So just because you came from the hood, just because you came from, a less fortunate background does not mean you aren't qualified. This just means that it may be a little bit harder, and you must tell your story. I'm trying to figure out where the music coming from. Oh. All right, so It just means that you have to tell your story. What, coming from the hood, how did that impact your life? How did you survive that? How did you overcome that? These are the stories that they want to hear. For if you don't have a strong academic record, you still need a strong academic record. Don't get me wrong, my academic record was strong, but it wasn't like the strongest or best it could be because of the situation, the circumstances. You need the prerequisites. We're going to get into the prerequisites. What are the prerequisites for this strong academic background? You need a bachelor's degree. Number one, you got to have a bachelor's degree to be a doctor, right? Because that's level one. Well, really, like maybe level two, okay? You need to have prerequisites for the bachelor's degree. That doesn't mean your bachelor's degree has to be in biology. I made that mistake of thinking, you know, I want to be a dentist. Let me just do my, well, I wanted to be a MD at the time. I switched to dental halfway through my journey at Florida State University. I ran into another student. I had never thought about becoming a dentist until I ran into her. She was melanated. She was in like the army. She had it all together. She had the parents. And I was like, whoa, she got it all together. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to be a dentist. I'm like, at this point, I'm thinking I've never seen a melanated dentist. I'm like, what? I never thought about that. And I looked into it and I was just hooked. I switched from the MD route. I switched from taking the MCAT and I started the dental admissions route. And one thing I'm gonna tell y'all, one reason why I did not want to go and take the MCAT is very petty. Let me take a sip of water because it's super petty. I didn't want to do the medical doctor route because the MCAT requires physics. And I was like, I don't feel like studying physics. You know, physics, I probably got A's and B's in both physics 1 and 2 in the lab because it was one of those classes where I had to study and focus so hard where it wasn't like easy. It was like, oh, physics, the math. It's like life math. You know, how far does this ball leap at this velocity? I'm like, I don't like this stuff. So that's why I was like, the MCAT, physics, and I looked at the DAT. I was like, the dental admission test don't require physics. I'm kind of almost sold. That's bad, but that was one of the selling points for me, is that I did not have to take the test on physics on the dental admissions test. Okay, let me just be frankly honest. All right, okay, there I said it. Now, dang, my light just died. Anywho, so you need the bachelor's degree, okay? You need certain prerequisites. And these prerequisites that you need are chemistry. You need 14 semester hours of chemistry, including at least 4 hours in organic chemistry with the labs. Now, we had to take organic chemistry 1 and 2. Most dental schools require organic chemistry 1 and 2. And other chemistry, biochem, normal chem, chem 1 and 2, all of this. Chemistry is the main thing. Okay, you cannot bypass the chemistry part. The next prerequisite that you need is biology. 6 semester hours of biology with a lab. You need physics, 6 hours of physics with a lab. So I took that physics and I'm like, oh, I don't ever want to see this again in my life. Okay? And I was the same way with organic chemistry. I don't ever want to see this again in my life because you're torturing my brain at this point. You need English, 6 semester hours in a writing intensive course, which English, never been a problem with the English. That's not hard. Biochem, you need 1 biochem course, and it says no lab required on what I'm looking at now, but most of the times you still need the lab, right? And you need all grades to be at least a C or better. So for me, going to Florida State University, they switched to a plus and minus system, which completely is stupid, in my opinion. So you could get a C minus or a C plus. And in one of these classes, I got a C minus, and you cannot apply to school with a C minus, so I had to take that class over again. So this is what I mean by you need a strong academic record, but They will allow some leeway if you have the story to match your journey. So don't feel like you gotta weed yourself out because you came from the hood and you know you didn't grow up in normal circumstances. That's okay. You still have an opportunity. Never count yourself out. All right. Now, standardized testing, the DAT. The dental admissions test is required by all dental schools. So you can't even get into dental school. And many of the programs, PhD programs, doctoral programs, you need some type of admissions test. The DAT, the MCAT, the PCAT, all of these admissions tests, right? Let me just ask the question. You need the, the GRE, the LSAT, all these different specialized tests. All right, you need those, and you will have proof of those if you complete the program. Because guess what? Without those, you really can't do much at all. Let me find out where it was. All right. What else do you need? So you need the dental admissions test, which has biology. It's testing you on the general chemistry, organic chemistry, your perceptual ability. So with dentistry, we didn't have to do physics, but we did have a section of the test where you're trying to fit 3D images through different holes and stuff like that and different shapes. So it's kind of trying to see if you can use indirect vision. With dentistry, you have to use indirect vision. So you work like this and you use your mirror, so you must be able to kind of see things differently, I would say. All right, and a lot of you also need reading comprehension and quantitative reasoning, which is kind of like math, the math part of the test. Okay. A lot of dental schools want you to aim for a GPA of 3.5 or higher. But if you have a GPA of 3.7, this is very competitive. My GPA was not a 3.5, but I had so many science classes. Then I had my master's classes. I was kind of like a super student. I took classes every summer when I was at Florida State. So my situation is a little bit different. I didn't have a 3.7. I didn't have a 3.5. I did. Okay. GPAs do matter, so just know that if you don't have a strong GPA, you better have a reason why, and you make sure to write it in your personal statement. What else do you need to get into dental school? You need clinical and professional experience, meaning hands-on experience with shadowing. This is very important because if you're going to go into this field, you need to know that you're really going to like what you are studying for, because it's not easy. You need volunteer hours. Working in dental clinics is highly valued. So you'll see why after the first year I didn't get into University of Florida because I cried like a baby in the interview. The second year I went back and I got more shadowing experience with a specific dentist who went to the school. I didn't know that he went to the school that I would actually get accepted into, but because I shadowed him and I had his letter of recommendation, this helps my, qualification to get into this school because, hey, she's shadowing an alum. Since I don't have legacy, sometimes you got to create your own legacy. Go find those doctors who have went to where you are trying to go and ask questions. Shout, hey, can I shadow you? Can I volunteer? Just get into their environment. That's why they say your network is your net worth a lot of the times. Had I not done that, I don't know if I would have truly gotten into Meharry without the stamp of approval from a Meharry saying, hey, she's a strong candidate. I believe in her. So I'm so grateful to the dentist that helped me get to that point. When I was just this hood student in mentality, trying to just get out of the hood, guys. Just trying my best to make a different life than what I've seen before me. If I had not followed my dreams, it would have been bad. I would have been miserable. I would have been so miserable just sitting there knowing that I had the potential, but I allowed all of the weight on my shoulders to just clock me out and make me feel like I can't do it. You know, that is the worst feeling ever, right? So you also need interprofessional experience. So health-related work can strengthen your application. I didn't really have health-related work. I worked at the Econo Lodge, which kind of gave me some little bitty tiny, you know, I could say I have a little business experience, just a little bit working there. But I worked studying in the medical school. So this is another way you have to create your own legacy. You see what I'm saying? I didn't have the parents signing for me and making the calls. I had to create legacy by connecting to other doctors and allowing them to help me get through this journey. I also joined like the pre-dental club at Florida State University. You know, you got to volunteer for different organizations. I worked for Big Ben Cares. This was an organization that they provided like food and different supplies to people who have AIDS and HIV. So I worked for them. I also worked in a place, well, the projects in Tallahassee called Holton Street. I used to volunteer in Holton Street, helping the students, being a tutor. We would go there after school, and they had this little trailer, and we would go in and just help the students and talk to them, and you know. So you gotta find different opportunities. I went to Camp Boggy Creek, which is also a disabled camp in like South Florida, and we spent the whole weekend at the camp, like just with the students being there, like assistant, I guess you could say, or their buddy is what they called it. So it's just different parts of the process that you cannot skip to strengthen your application if you want to go to the next level. So you got to make sure you check off all the boxes. So that's why I say when it comes to proof, you're going to have your proof, right? Not only that, you have to then submit your application to these different schools by the deadline. Pay money, of course, and apply for financial aid, etc., etc., etc. So the point is, you know, you just have to respect the process, go through the process, and absolutely be proud to toot your own horn and shine. So I will say this, like everybody wants the glow, but nobody talks about the grind that created that glow. When people see the title, oh my God, doctor. So when you put that title on, make sure you carry that with respect, make sure you carry that with honesty, and make sure you just carry that with pride. Like be proud of what you've earned, okay? Because if you out here and you going crazy, you going viral with the title, people gonna see that degree, they see the clips, they see the followers, they see the confidence, but they don't see the process that you went through at all. A lot of us face those sleepless nights that I will never forget, those sleepless nights where you're so tired, and it reminded me of like studying for the dental admissions test after working all day for my state job in Tallahassee, and then also having a second job. At one point, it was just like, I don't want to have this life where I need two jobs. And this was even back then. This was 2011, 12, where I needed two jobs in Tallahassee just to really like survive. I needed two jobs, and I was working myself so hard, and I wasn't happy. You just can't be happy when you have all the pressure on yourself. You don't have help. You have responsibilities. You have people to take care of, and it's like, well, damn. Who's gonna take care of me? So I saw that part of my life as, hey, if I don't go and study right now, and if I don't use my bachelor's degree and what I went through and all the prerequisites that I did and the volunteering and all these different things where I built up to apply to dental school. If I don't pay this money and study for this test and pass this test, I'm gonna be stuck here forever, and I'm gonna have way more sleepless nights. But these sleepless nights will be because I did not follow my dreams. I didn't follow my dreams, and those are the type of sleepless nights you don't really want. I don't want to have sleepless nights because I had so much self-doubt in my heart that I could not push forward and do what I know I needed to do to elevate me and get to the next level. I did not want to go through the process, but I only wanted the glow. That's dangerous. Even with something like streaming, people will say, oh, streaming looks so easy. They getting all the glow. They getting the reward. People who are big streamers. Just for me being like a beginning, not really a new streamer, but like a growing streamer, I know that it takes hard work to sit and stream. It is a process. So the people who go crazy with the streams and they on here for stupid crazy hours, they going bananas on this thing. Hey, they got the right to blow up because they went through the process. And that's with anything. If you go through business, if you stuck through it, you went through the sleepless nights, the self-doubt, the studying in your industry, all of the pressure, guess what? You deserve to glow up and, have the reward from going through the process, right? Because people don't see the pressure. No. They don't see the failures because nobody's clapping for the failures. They're not clapping for that. And that's why going through the process is lonely, guys. So if you out there right now, you going through the process, you came from the hood, people don't really understand your journey. They might doubt you, or you just, you don't really have all of the pieces to the puzzle, but you still trying to put the puzzle together. Listen, the pieces to the puzzle that you need, once you get the puzzle almost completed, will come. It will come, and nobody still might not clap, but at least you got the puzzle completed. You went through the process. So now, after you get through the process, you have the right to glow. Okay? I think this generation is struggling because social media made people and everybody make everybody obsessed with results without respecting what it takes to become something in real life, right? So we have to respect the process. And I might have to end this and come back because I want to stream for a lot longer. But I'm burning up in this sweater now. Like, I'm burning up, y'all. Like, I might have to pause this. Burn it up. Matter of fact, why do I have a heater on? That's why I'm burning up. Burning up in this sweater. Anywho, let's keep going. So everybody wants the fruit. Everybody wants the fruit. People like, hey, do you have some fruit I can have? But nobody wants to water the tree. I think that's a big statement. Everybody wants the fruit, but nobody wants to water the tree. It's kind of like when they say, I can teach you how to fish, but I can't keep giving you fish. It's like I could teach you how to grow a tree. I'm hot, y'all. I don't have my fan right now. And I don't want to end my live. I can teach you how to water the tree. I can teach you how to plant the seed. But I can't give you the fruit. So if somebody said, hey, what would you want? Do you want me to show you how to water the tree so you can get your own fruit, or do you want me to just give you fruit? Your answer should always be, hey, I want to be the person who knows how to fish for myself, water my own tree, grow my own tree, right? So that's why when people come out and they're like veneer techs and these pseudo careers, some people might not check the credentials, but this should be a lesson for all of us. Check the credentials, make sure who you are getting your information from or going to, especially for dentistry. Make sure you can, pull up your license, because licensing is very important in the healthcare space. If you don't have a license, it's kind of like you shouldn't really be doing what you're doing. You can harm people, and with dentistry, it's easy to harm people. Veneers look glamorized, they look nice, but you must make sure that the doctor who is doing the veneers on you, number one, knows what the hell they're doing. Number two, you can go to them for follow-up. Number three, they have a license. Number four, they give you the care and the maintenance of these veneers, because if you didn't take care of your real teeth and that's why you got veneers, listen, veneers require more effort and more care than your real teeth, I would say. Because now you have these porcelain veneers glued to your teeth. You have to make sure you floss, make sure you brush, because things can get stuck, things can break. My thing is, keep your real teeth as long as you can. Okay? Keep your real teeth healthy as long as you can, because nothing is better than the teeth that the Creator gave us. Nothing. Now, if you're doing ortho, you're doing different things to get a more aesthetically pleasing smile, always, everybody who has teeth in their head should always make sure that oral health care is at the top of your priorities. Regardless if you do veneers, root canals, crowns, you need to take care of them to the fullest. Okay? So, when I say everybody wants the fruit, but few want to water the tree, this is like a lot of people want to be like a dentist, they will have, or a doctor, and they might put that in front of their name, but few want to water the tree. Why? Because people respect the dentist after the diploma. They don't really respect you before you get that degree. It's like, oh, I'm trying to be a dentist. You go through 10, 12 years of school trying to be a doctor, but you're not a doctor yet, and you can't even call yourself a doctor while you're in dental school. In dental school, you a D1, a D2, a D3, or D4. You are a doctoral candidate. You're a candidate for a doctorate degree. You're not a doctor, and you can't even call yourself a doctor, right? This is why you're in the doctoral program. So we are, hey, I'm a D1 student. So you hear people in dental school, they're D1, this is their first year. But they're D4, this is their fourth year. But they're not a doctor. They're a doctoral candidate. And it's not until you actually complete all your prerequisites, turn in all your requirements, finish all your clinicals, complete your board exams, because you can't even become a doctor of dental surgery with a degree until you pass your board exams, right? You need your board exams. This is very important. Okay? But when you're doing those board exams, if you don't have your degree, you're not a doctor. While you're doing your clinical requirements, you're not. You're in the process. So the process for most of us is an invisible process. No one claps. No one sees the hard work you're putting in. No one cares about all of that until the success that you achieve makes people curious. Before I went viral on the internet, I was this streaming dental student. I was just excited to show my family and friends back home that this is how it looks. I was excited as hell. The whole time I was excited, studying, documenting the process. I have so many videos and pictures of that whole journey because I wanted to remember the moment, because you only go through it once, and you only want to go through it once, and when you get done, you don't ever want to go back. But that process is something that I would not replace. Going to Meharry is a process that I would not replace. It was a place that transformed me into Dr. Sean. It was a place that I really kind of grew. I was around intelligent geniuses in my class and other classes. It just was a process that, just living in Nashville, just being on that campus, us picking our scrubs, like the white coat ceremony from the beginning to the end, it is a process that is mind-blowing. And it's kind of crazy that I actually love dental school. It was hard as hell, and I wouldn't do it again, but I just love being in that environment. I can't even lie. FYP support. What's up, Tea Time Beauty? How you feeling? I appreciate the support. I really do. Hey, Dr. Chief the Sunflower. What's going on, Queen? Oh, I be seeing you show out on your page. Hey. You be showing out on your page. I'm feeling so smart. I just came from a training. That's what I'm talking about. What type of training was it? Ha. Yes. Balance, yes. That is too funny. I can't find none of my good stickers anymore. I've been trying to find little funny little stickers and sounds, but I really need one of those sound things. You know what I mean? Unalive assessment training for mental health. Assessment training for mental health. That is very important. Did you enjoy the training? Well, that doesn't sound like something you know. Says, yes, and built a network of other clinicians. Built a network of other clinicians. I did enjoy it. My brain is so full on how to support others. That is so lovely. That's what we need nowadays. More people in the mental health space. And I took a fun boat ride to get here. What? I love trainings where you can like mingle with other professionals, and especially when it's not in like a classroom setting. I love that. And you know, I'm always a fan of lifelong learning. As a dentist, I have to keep learning for the rest of my life. And I kind of love it. I've always been a learner. I remember my auntie used to be like, you always in school. You always studying. I think I'm going to be studying forever. I can't even lie. I feel so grateful. As you should. As you should. He's so far from me. No. Clap. Yeah, I'm always gonna be a lifelong learner, like forever. Let's see what this sound say. Oh, why are they playing? What we doing today? Well, I'm just talking, you know, there was this incident with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant where the internet is just attacking her. And I was just talking about, you know, going through the process of becoming a doctor and how much proof that you have along the process. And, you know, just trying to provide my little 2 cents to the situation. Nothing too major. I'm really just chilling on here today. Right now I'm talking about how everybody wants the fruit, but few want to water the tree. And also talking about how when you're going through, you know, your training, your schooling, the process is invisible. And then it becomes visible when you become successful. Okay? It's just like me. Before going viral, the only reason why I think I went viral with the graduation picture is because people saw, oh wow, she's done. You know, before that, it doesn't really matter to other people. You have to get through the 10 to 12 years, the 8 years, however long it takes you to get to that point. People don't really pay attention until you actually cross the stage. You could have spent this money on clothes or something, but I invested in my education. Yes. You said, yes, I could have spent this money. Yes, investing in your education is going to be the best thing ever because you're growing your brain, you learning new skills, you feel smart, you're networking. You know, you're just getting better at in your career or your field. That's why I say I'm going to forever be a learner. Not because it's required for me to be a dentist, but just because I love learning. Like right now, I'm learning about 2 to 3 different things. Trying to get a license in one thing. I already have my doctoral license, and I didn't wait for someone to tell me to do this. I wanted this skill development. Yes. And that's how we should be moving. Always getting those skills, developing who you are, getting closer to your dreams, always thinking about your future, keeping your vision in the forefront, investing in yourself, not investing in Jordans and clothes and shoes. This stuff is cool, but it's a liability. When you invest in yourself, this is actually an asset. You know, it's one that you can't really see, but you can feel it spiritually. You know what I'm saying? Every time I go and I'm studying like implantology or something new in dentistry, I feel smart as hell. Like, oh, I'm smart. Okay. Or if I learn a new trick or tip while I'm studying these classes, I feel smart. But if you sit around and you never learn anything new and you get comfortable, this is how people get Alzheimer's. This is how people start to forget. They do the same routine forever. They get out of high school and they just be like, I'm done with school. Because, you know, history has made you learn about all of the pseudo-history. History has made you learn. That ain't what I meant to say. You know, colonization has taught us a lot of pseudo-history. So when you get done with high school, you're just like over it. You're over studying. But the people who are lifelong learners, we never stop learning. So that's why I'm always learning history, which has become ironically one of my favorite subjects, which was never my favorite subject in school. Like in high school, I would just study a couple minutes before the test and take the test, you know? I'm not telling the students to do that, but that's what Dr. Sean did. I want new sneakers, but I won't feel as good in them knowing I am falling behind in my personal goals. Oh my God. Same. Listen, I want to go on a vacation right now. I want to do so much right now, but when you have goals, sometimes you need to sacrifice, you know, temporary gratification for long-term stability, right? For your long-term future plans, for your vision, you know. You know? So let's talk about it. Some people are like, girl, I gotta get them J's. Are you crazy? Them J's is calling my name. See, when something called my name and I know I shouldn't buy it, it's like, I want it. Like Akira here on TikTok. Akira on TikTok is my weakness. I have to stay off of TikTok shop because that is not helping me. It's not. I saw my parents put their needs first and coach me to put their needs first too. I am learning to prioritize my own needs and wants. Facts. It's just like when you're on the plane. You gotta put your own oxygen mask on first. And I often tell my patients this, especially the parents. Hey parent, you gotta brush your teeth too. What example are you setting for your kids? They be like, yeah, but I'm too busy, I gotta get the kid. Listen, parent, if you don't brush your teeth, you're gonna have a toothache. And what can you do for your kids? You're gonna be like, bump them kids right now, my tooth hurting. I promise you that. I promise you. So I'm a fan of putting yourself first. Even me with dentistry, I have to put dentistry after I put my own needs, you know, because I'm in a field where it can be easy to put my patients first all the time, which I do all the time, and I realize I do that all the time. But sometimes you have to say, you know what, my body needs to put me first. Actually, all the time. You got to put yourself first so you can take care of other people if that's what you want to do. For me, I have to put myself first so I can be a better dentist for my patients. And whether that means I pivot, whether that means I learn a new skill, whether that means I close up some things and do something new, you know, you will know. We all working on it. Facts. We all working on it. Absolutely. We all working on it. So, guys, just know that the process when you're going through the process of whatever you're trying to do, doctoral school, you know, learning new skills, just being better in all areas of life, it is supposed to be hard. You know, if you're doing something and it's easy, it's not really challenging, I challenge you to go a little bit harder, do something that really challenges you. Don't pick things that are always easy, right? Watching you replay on my YouTube is like body doubling for me when I am studying. What? Listen, I appreciate you tapping into my YouTube channel, man. Like, you are a #1 supporter for real. I appreciate it. And I just love coming to your TikTok videos and seeing you just being so free, full of life, just living your best life, full of happiness. I'm like, dang, you motivated me to get back on my, like, just free, happy Dr. Sean. I feel like this year I just been like a stressed out Dr. Sean a little bit. I've been not as, like, making my TikToks not really into my full creative spirit, which I'm changing now. I have to get back into my creator space. And believe it or not, guys, when I say that, what I mean by that is I just haven't really, I think this year gave us a lot to think about with the news, which is why I stopped watching the news, because they had me like all over the place with distractions. Now I'm getting back to me. So when you say, hey, I have to put my needs first, that is so true. Yay, it's an honor to support you. Pour into me. You pour into me. So glad FYP connected us. Thank you for your live stream challenge. Hey, yes. Thank you. Listen, I have failed my challenge. Most people probably don't know, if you catch me live for the first time, you probably don't know that I've been trying to go, well, I have this consistency challenge where I've been trying to go live every day for 365 days, and honey child, I've been failing ever since. So I'm going to tell y'all one thing that is difficult about this challenge that I'm on with streaming and showing up to this live podcast is showing up. That is my only well, it's not my only weakness, but it's one of my top weaknesses right now is consistency. People will not believe how hard it is to be consistent. Thank you for the heart, me, Tea Time Beauty. Let me show you some love with a sticker. Let me find us a sticker for you. You know, I've been trying to be consistent for a long time. I think this May will probably make a year that I've been failing. But do you see me? I'm still showing up because I got Tea Time Beauty in the chat. Come on now. Why you want to play my sound for Tea Time Beauty? Man. We're going to get it together, chat. We're going to get it together. My tablet ain't working, so I'm going to be here cheerleading you on. Oh, thank you for the laughing taco. The laughing taco. I'm trying to find you a dang, it won't work. I appreciate your support so much. I laugh so hard at the sounds. Ah! Listen, I can't even play them. I'm trying to play them now, but they won't play. My tablet be tripping on me. I don't know why. I don't know why. Let me see if this one will play. Let's just get out of there. They're not working right now. I need me like a little sound board. You know how they use when they're streaming? I need one of those. Because this little tablet method, it ain't working. It is not working. But I'm going to keep trying. Come on, play. Play. Maybe I got to get out of here for a second. Let's exit and let's start it over. But anywho, trusting the process is hard, you know, but if it was easy, everybody would be trusting the process. Everybody would be doing what you're doing. Everybody would be working on their personal development and getting new skills. And like you said, investing in yourself. One of the best things you can do is invest in your knowledge. And I could never like just sit around and, I don't know, do the same thing forever. Be the same person forever. Get to a point where I stop learning. Get to a point where I'm just sitting around like, I don't want to learn nothing. I could never get to that point. Hopefully. Never say never, but I don't want to get to that point. Now let's see here. Let me see if my sound gonna work for you. Yay! It's got working. Oh, the sounds are working. So for your support, Tea Time Beauty, let me see. Let me find a good sound for you. Because I appreciate you so much just for making my lives like not dead. That's why I say I'm still growing with the streaming thing. I have to go through the process. This isn't, but I went through doctoral school for, trying to get my doctorate degree for years, so I'm okay with going through the process. I know you would get it back to working. Hey, yes. Because we do not give up around here. Listen. Now let me go find the sound that I was going to play. It's somewhere down here. It just takes so long to get to it. Come on. Oh, here we go. Hey. Let's see how this sounds. That's it? Hold on. I need to delete some of these. What about this one? You inspire me. It's okay to be multi-passionate. Yes, I'm definitely multi-passionate. For sure. There was this guy when I was working at Econolodge. His name was Brandon. And he used to be like, Shantaria, you want to do everything, girl. I'm like, yes, I want to do everything. I want to be everything that I see in my head. And I will do everything that I have in my head. I can't stop the learning. It's like I just get so intrigued with things. And then time goes so fast, I don't want to waste my time. I'm still trying to figure out life though. Don't get me wrong, which is why I can't stop learning because I haven't figured it out yet. Look at me with streaming. I'm still trying to figure it out. It took me so long to start streaming on like Twitch because Twitch is a learning curve. For 2 or 3 years I did one stream and then I was like, oh, this is too hard. And then I went back to it years later. You made me want to learn to make sushi rolls. Oh, that is too funny.
Bruh.
You know what? That is too funny. I'm gonna tell you why I decided to start making sushi rolls. It looks so good. That is too funny. I'm gonna tell you why, because the reason why I wanted to learn how to make sushi rolls because I call my favorite sushi place Their name is Saki, in case you was wondering. They had the best sushi ever. Their hibachi is so good. Mwah. I called them one day. Stop, I'm laughing too hard. Listen, I called them one day and I ordered hibachi like in sushi and it was so expensive. I was like, I'm not about to pay y'all no $80 for no sushi and hibachi. Maybe I was being a little cheap this day, but listen, they took their prices up. You said it worked, y'all. Listen, they took their prices up. So what I did, I went to Chat GPT. I said, hey, give me the recipe for sushi roll. And you know Chat GPT is like my personal assistant. The best personal assistant in the world. It was like, hey, Dr. Sean, you can do. And one of my favorite things about the sushi roll and hibachi is the eel sauce. It's like that sweet soy sauce, and I love the yum yum sauce. So it was like, hey, you need the seaweed layer, you need your sushi rice, you need the vinegar, and I did all the parts. I made my little sushi rice with the vinegar, and I think it's sugar. You mix it up, and you put it in I made the rice. You know, I love the avocado. Fried the shrimp. I even made a fried lobster sushi roll, which was better than the regular shrimp sushi roll. I was like, this lobster is really good in a sushi roll. He said, yum. Yep. So I was like, I'm not paying y'all $80. Do you know how many pieces of sushi I got from like buying all the stuff to make it? I made at least, like during that week, I made at least 60 to 70 rolls. I didn't eat them all. Of course it was for other people too, but I'm like, dang, you could pay that much money and get like 10 to 12 sushi rolls, or you can make your own. And it looks so hard, but it's so easy. Saving money, facts. You get your little bamboo rolling mat, you go to YouTube and look at people do it, and it was so good. You better know it. It was so good. I was like, I'm sorry, you will not be getting my money.
Have you or a loved one been experiencing symptoms such as coughing, wheezing, or shortness of breath? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry that y'all not getting my money. Living on less makes my life better. Facts. Facts. And that's what I'm headed towards. Living on less, not getting caught up on TikTok shop with Akira, because Akira play in my face all day. They always dropping these cute clothes. And I'm like, dang, Akira. If y'all don't know about Akira, oh my God, they make the cutest clothes ever. They make the cutest shoes, like just stuff that's just so different. I have them tagged in my video as well, but I'm just saying, like, they just the bomb.com. I love that. I used to be able to go to New York City and go to Brooklyn down, like, what is that, Utica? I don't know what street it is, but they had the best clothes. I don't know where they got their clothes from, but they was super cheap. And I would go there and rack up, but now they closed down. I guess the clothes are super cheap. Money affirmations. Tell me when I finish my CEUs for the year, LOL. It would be my treat. Yes. Finish your CEUs. It's definitely exciting. I have a CE goal as well. I'm trying to get more credentialing. So I totally understand when you're trying to keep your brain sharp, all of that. But that is so funny. She said I made her wanted to make a sushi roll. When you make your sushi roll, take a picture, send it to me. I want to see it. And to the other people out there who are inspired to make sushi after you saw my video, listen, we sushi gang. I can't pay for, well, I will pay for sushi sometimes if it's in a reasonable price, but now that I know how to make it and everything is like way cheaper, I probably won't pay for it. Because think about it, this is just seaweed, sticky rice. You just gotta boil some rice, do the little vinegar and sugar thing with your, rice vinegar, sugar. You boil it with salt. You mix it into your sticky rice after it's done. You know, you add your veggies, fry your, that's easy. Easy. And the eel sauce, I'm talking this just so easy. They charge you like $1 for eel sauce. I'm able to make so much dang on eel sauce, and it tastes better than what they made. What? Me? Come on now. It's different when you know how to make something. Facts. Stop comparing when you go out if you can make it yourself better. Yes. You can make it so much better. It's like what they say, we got that at home. We got that at home. What you want? I know how to make it. We got that at home. Your best friend gonna be ChatGPT and YouTube. I'm telling you. Cause they like, Dr. Sean, you made sushi. Yes, man, we got sushi at home. You better know it. They like, what they tell me?
Okay, that's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive. Facts. That's what they say. They say it's pretty impressive. It got so bad that the sushi people knew my name. I'm like, I gotta stop coming here. Because your sushi is good, but your guys are trying to take your prices up. I get it. Everything is going higher, but everything is higher. Fast food higher than, sit down restaurants. Everything is higher. So this year I've been on we got it at home season. What? We got it at home. We definitely got it at home, okay? We got it at home, bro. Alright? So, again, when you're going through the process of elevating your life, you will go through rejection, pressure, issues with consistency. I can't stress that enough. I never thought that once I made an agreement to go live every day and do this 365-day consistency challenge that I would fail over 10 times. I didn't think that. That extra few dollars is me paying myself. Facts. I've saved so much money by not eating out this year, and I love it. Anytime I think, oh, dang, we could go and stop here. Listen, no, we got it at home. Sometimes you want to treat yourself. My birthday came. I did, splurge a little bit there, but that's birthday energy. I'm all down with birthday energy. But just regular day, eating that all the time, listen, we got it at home. Save your money. Learn how to make the things that you buy everywhere else at home. The next thing I want to learn how to make is, what is it, miso? Is it miso soup that they make? The clear soup? Yeah, I got to learn how to make it because I like it. I like the clear soup that they give you. So let me make this at home myself. Why not? Right? So when you're going through the process for whatever journey you're on, guys, just know that it is supposed to be hard. And if it was easy, everybody would survive that process. We would have everybody becoming, specialists in their fields. You would have everybody being lawyers or, licensed clinical therapists. Everybody would be doing it if it was so easy. So that's why when you go through the process, it's going to be hard, as it should be. You have to prove yourself, I pay myself for customer service with the money I save. I know that's right. Put it in the stock market, invest it, save your coins, because times is hard. I didn't even realize that gas here in New York, today we were riding around, I think gas here now, the regular unleaded is like $4.70. That's mind-boggling. I'm like, wow, gas is almost about to hit $5 a gallon. That is crazy. So you have to save your money or not even have a car. Just get on the bus, catch the train. So people in New York City, they winning because they can get on the train. They can get on the bus. They got options. They can walk a lot of the times. When I did my residency in Brooklyn, listen, I lost so much weight, y'all. Financial literacy is something I need to study too. Yes. If you want to study financial literacy, it goes very, very deep. There's so many people. I would suggest people like Ellie Talks Money. She's great with financial literacy. Terry Ijeoma. She's great with trading, day trading. My boss had me on 50-cent raise for my year review. The same week gas went up, it was not enough, and she knows it. Yeah, that's definitely not enough. Definitely not enough. What is your field, Tea Time Beauty, if you don't mind me asking? I know you said mental health. Yeah, that's definitely not enough. And I think that jobs play in people's faces when they like give you a 50-cent raise. Or it's like the cost of inflation is way past that. Mental health counselor, what? Yes, I do trauma work. So you in the same lane as Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. That's what I was talking about earlier. And she hired 4 additional people. Oh my God. Listen. That is crazy. That's crazy. Cheyenne Bryant. Yeah, she's like this doctor.
Bruh.
She's this doctor. Well, I think that she's a doctor, but people have been calling her out saying that she's not a licensed clinical therapist. And, you know, that's what I've been talking about today. How you need to go through the process. She's calling herself a doctor. People saying she's not a doctor. I'm like, oh, this is a messy situation. But that's how I got on this whole topic of, you know, going through the process, respecting the process, and, you know, if you are something, be proud of that. But if you aren't, don't like steal the shine from the people who are licensed clinical therapists or PhDs. You know what I'm saying? So that's crazy. So you will understand. Look her up. I'm sure it's all over YouTube. I can't even go on YouTube and not see it. YouTube, she been on the Breakfast Club, all these different things. And I'm not here to say that she is or isn't a doctor. I'm just here to say what the process is to go through. That you go through so you can have evidence that you're in this field, you know. But anywho, like I said, when you think streaming every day, like when I'm streaming every day, especially in the beginning when no one was showing up, that makes being consistent hard, you know. Yes, my grandpa laughed when I told him 50 cents. He said that he hasn't heard that in all his 60 years. What? Every place I have worked in, I am the only melanated woman. We are rare. Wow. Your journey is just like mine. Every place that I've worked in, other than like having my own dental practice, I've been the only melanated person. A lot of times in the building, I've been in dental practices where I've been the only melanated person the entire time. No melanated patients, no staff. It's just me. And only because I have the credentials to be in that building, to be the leader. And that's crazy. Like, I've been in so many offices like that where I'm the only one. But in the beginning, it used to bother me, especially during the first year of me being a dentist. I felt kind of awkward, like, dang, I'm going to be the only melanated person. Back then, I was like, I'm going to be the only black person. But now, you know, I'm like, this is kind of intimidating. But then I had to remember my time at University of Florida when I had this interview to get into dental school and I cried like a baby. I had to remember, oh, no. You got to hold your head up high because what you said, we are rare. We're rare. Yes, I really keep going sometimes because I remember what your journey has been. It helps. I am not alone. You are definitely not alone. There's so many of us out here that go through that feeling like we're the only ones in the building. I needed your content when I found you. Wow. That really warms my heart. You know, sometimes it just be right on time. And that's why I have to listen to my spirit. Continue with the Hood to Hood podcast. Because people are listening. People do need it. And I could feel like, dang, sometimes I'm lonely in this process. You know, I feel like sometimes, dang, people might not need what I'm saying. But I have to push through all of the self-doubt, all of the self-rejection, all of the pressure inside of myself to say, you know what? I have to keep going regardless if the audience is silent because one day I will find my tribe. I am Hood to Hood and girly for life, period. You already know I gotta find the sound for that. You know, hold up. We got Patrick in the building. What you got for me?
I have arrived.
I have arrived, baby. I'm gonna learn the lyrics one day. I'm gonna put those songs on YouTube. I just haven't made my way to putting all of our background songs on YouTube, but they will be on YouTube maybe this weekend, you know, so you can listen to them anytime you want. But that just warms my heart. Like, you know, it just does. You don't understand. To get through all of that self-doubt in my mind to the point where I can doubt myself, to feel like, dang, what I'm saying might not be hitting, or maybe I'm thinking too deep or talking too deep. But to know that someone, especially you, appreciates the content, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. I will meet you in person one day. Thank you. Yes, we will definitely meet in person one day, Tea Time Beauty. That's facts. That is facts. I feel like if we keep this podcast growing, if I ever, and I will accomplish the 365-day streaming challenge one day, even though I fail every other week, one day it's going to click for me. Well, you know what, Dr. Sean, show up. And I seen something, and you know, ChatGPT tell me, hey, Dr. Sean, you got all the pieces. You're rare, right? You're a doctor. You have the credentials. You have the story. You have the viral message. You have the depth. All you missing, it said, is your consistency. So that's why a lot of times I come back, because my ChatGPT like, dang, you just missed in consistency. And that's why the consistency challenge is so hard, because people will underestimate consistency. Like I underestimate consistency. It's not easy doing something consistently for a year. But is it impossible? No. People do it all the time. But is it easy? No. So you know, if it's part of the process, we just got to do our time. So when I don't show up, I feel like, dang, I want to talk to Tea Time Beauty. I can't talk to you if I don't show up. I can't continue to connect with my audience and build that trust if I don't show up. So you hold me accountable, Tea Time Beauty. And to all the other people who follow me and support, if you're watching and you're a ghost follower, you hit the like button, you drop comments sometimes, you guys keep me showing up. You know, you keep me showing up so that we can grow together. Because I'm still just a growing person. I'm a growing dentist. I'm always practicing my craft. Always, you know, studying the history, bringing you different levels of knowledge, trying to help us grow and elevate. Because I came from the hood, and I know how hard it is to come from nothing, to start from nothing, to go through those rare occasions where you're the only melanated person in the building. You know what I mean? So I understand completely. Escaping the matrix is following your own dreams instead of depending on the system society forced on us. Big facts. Big facts. And they definitely put a system on us where we feel like we have to stay locked into this identity of hustling and just working and never knowing about financial literacy, especially if you come from where I came from. You don't have legacy. You're not investing into assets. Like you said, you invested into yourself today. You took a course. You're with other people in your profession. You feel so good when you're learning, and you make that investment into your future, into your knowledge. It feels so good. But a lot of people get so burnt out with the work culture. And like you said, they don't want to give you the raises that you truly deserve. They kind of like play in your face. It's like, hey, you playing in my face. So when they play in your face, this is just a sign for you to always be looking for a better opportunity. Even from a young girl, when I first started my job at McDonald's at 16 years old on my 16th birthday, and when I left that job, I always put, hey, I'm looking for a better opportunity. I don't care if I was going to Wendy's. I was like, I'm looking for a better opportunity because you ain't talking to me right. I left Wendy's with the Krispy Kreme. I'm looking for a better opportunity. So even when you get into higher professions in your field, whatever field that is, in your field of mental health, you always looking for a better opportunity. For real, learning to stand up for my worth. Facts. Right now, I'm looking for a better opportunity. So I gotta weigh my options. Hey, is this a better opportunity? I'm always looking for a better opportunity. Even as an entrepreneur, as a dental practice, owner, I'm always looking for something that could be better. Because remember, we always want peace and happiness first at the end of the day. If it's getting me out of line with peace and happiness, or I feel like you're not giving me what I'm worth, then secretly I'm going to be looking for a better opportunity. Secretly I am, right? So you got to stand up for yourself And when you see people making that move, just calculate, dang, if she just give me 50 cent raises for 10 years, you know, that's $1 every 2 years. So that means I'll be up $5 more in about 10 years. And if you know that's not your vision, it's time to seek a better opportunity. Never be afraid to seek a better opportunity. I'm going to tell y'all about my good friend. I'm going to call her T-Mac. You know, I have to remind myself my worth is for me to define. It is for me to affirm to myself I have a choice. Facts. You definitely have choices. So I had a friend around the same time I was with the state of Florida. I call her T-Mac. She was one of my very, very good friends. She's no longer with us right now. Yes, I'm going to start looking because what she is in vacay now. Hold on. Yes, I'm going to start looking because what she is on vacation. Oh, she's on vacation? What? Yeah, she's tripping. Yeah, at least give me $2. $1, 50 cents? No, ma'am. That's like when I was in high school. They used to give us quarter raises. It's like, come on, bro. But when you in high school, you like, oh my God. But now if they did it, I would probably. I'm not gonna say that. She's on vacation to New Orleans and was talking about voodoo, a white tea woman, weird energy. What? Yeah, very weird. She's never gonna give you your worth, you know. So you don't allow her to determine your worth. You only have what the job you're on. This is a stepping stone for you to get to the next level. Like I said, even for me as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking for the stepping stone, the next level. I'm in New York right now, but my desire is to flourish, do something different. You get what I'm saying? I'm never gonna be stuck, regardless. Even if I thought some of the decisions I make were the best for me at the time. You grow, you evolve, continue stacking your skills. Continue always stacking your skills. Don't be afraid to stack your skills. So back to my friend T-Mac. When I was at the state, she was also at the state. Now, she didn't have like college credentials and bachelor's degrees, but she had ambition. She had experience. And when she was at the state of Florida, we were working there. We would spend our whole lunch break just talking. She was there with me when I applied to the dental school. I got in. She was waiting for me to go. She was like, Sean, why you still going to work and showing up at the work on time? And why you doing that? You finna be leaving in a month. You finna be going to dental school in a month. Girl, I be tripping out. And I say, girl, I got to keep my name clean. Like, I can't get to this point and start, you know, acting up at work. I was just that, like, diligent. I'm like, no, I gotta show up. I gotta be on time. I'm about to be a doctor, girl. I can't be playing around my lunch break. But anywho, around that time where I was getting ready to leave, she was contemplating moving to a whole nother state to work with the feds. But she was with the state of Florida at the time. And she was just like, dang, I don't know. What about my kids? What about this? And I was like, T-Mac, take the opportunity. Don't be afraid. You have the credentials. They paying you like 2-3 times more. Girl, if you don't leave, I'm like, girl, I'm about to leave. You need to leave. Don't be afraid to move. And at the end of the day, she took the leap of faith. She moved. She got that higher paying job. She kept that job, experienced a whole other city for a couple of years, and then she came back to Florida. You know what I'm saying? So she had the opportunity to leave the comfort zone, leave the state or the city where you're comfortable, just to get the opportunity that you deserve, not be afraid of it. This is something that where you're going to get so much more experience than just a job. You're moving, you getting out of your shell. She was able to do that, and I was so proud. She making $80,000-$90,000 a year, no, you know, bachelor's degree, just experience and ambition. Sometimes that's what it takes. Some people won't even apply for a higher opportunity because they are like afraid of getting rejected. So what if you get rejected? You can always apply again, see what they're looking for. Try again. Say, yes, I needed this. You encourage each other. Yes, we encourage each other so much. She, like I said, she is no longer here. I lost 2 very, very special people just last year. You know, very, very difficult year. 2 very close people. And both of them pour into me dearly. And my friend T Mac, she was just like a goofy, like she was so funny, like one of the most funniest people I ever met. And I can hear her now, Sean. I just miss her voice, like it's crazy. So I'm just happy that we had a chance to share those memories. I'm happy she kind of motivated me along my journey, and I was just so happy to see her just break generational curses. And we are both generational curse breakers. So if you feeling like that and you enter rooms where you're rare, you're the only one who look like you, hey, this is the moment where you hold your head up super high. Because of course you gotta work a little bit harder than other people, but at the same time you equipped for it. When I go into rooms and offices now and I'm the dentist and I'm the only one who look like me, it don't even bother me no more. You know, it don't even bother me no more. I just treat my patients equally. I let them have a great experience at the dentist. I don't let nothing hold me back. I try to be ethical, you know, and just try to be the best dentist that Meharry not only taught me, but that the Brooklyn Hospital Center GPR taught me. That 10 years of being in this career and working with some lame dentists who are very mean, what they taught me how not to be. And you just keep elevating, and you never get to a point where you're comfortable like you're a tree. I never meet people who are successful who are just comfortable, just, okay, you know what? I got everything I need. I'm set. Some people not even set and they just get comfortable. They just be like, I'm not set, I'm not happy, but I'm going to stay here. No, we elevating. We always elevating every season. So if it's 4 seasons in a year, every season, you need to be elevating. You don't need to be the same as you was last season. It's a whole new season. Even the trees don't look the same as they did last season. You feel me? But also of change. I don't think I read that right. Even the trees. You feel me? Tea Time Beauty. They don't even stay the same every season. I remember I took a picture in front of a tree. It was like just like, it wasn't a baby tree. It was maybe like a new tree. Right? It was like a new tree. A year later, I took a picture. I don't know if it was a year later, a couple months later. I took a picture in front of the same tree, and it was way bigger. So it's like, even if you can't see this tree changing, this tree is growing. So just like plants must grow, just like, you know, the land grows, just like things evolve, things, you know, get better over time. You cannot stay the same. You cannot stay at a place where you feel like, dang, this really ain't growing me. Like, you baby, you spoon feeding me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta do better than that if you want these skills. You are so right. It's okay to let the leaves that serve their purpose fall. You know what? Facts. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say. It's okay to let the leaves fall. It's okay to grow. You're going to get new leaves. That's why in New York, we get all 4 seasons. And I say that very loosely because they barely get a summer. Okay? That alone might piss me off. Just thinking about not having a summer. But like now it's cold. It's rainy. It's May the 15th. And New York is still chilly where you need sweaters and stuff. I don't like it. Like, what the hell? But you'll see the trees go through transformations. Even the mountains, they go through transformations all year. Really, I don't know. I didn't know y'all barely get a summer. Wow. Cali barely gets winter. You're in Cali, one of my favorite places. I love Cali, man. I wish I could live in Cali. Oh. But you know I'm from Florida, so we are the Sunshine State as well. West Coast. I'm from the other Sunshine State. And that's why I'm like, dang, where the summer at? We don't get no summers. I've been here for like 8-9 years. The summers are kind of like the spring in Florida or Cali. Seattle, Cali, I go back and forth. What? I've never been to Seattle. That's the place where it rains a lot, right? Seattle. That is so cool. You're in Cali. You would love the nature. Yes, you know I'm a nature girl. I love the water. Summer, come visit. It's so pretty. Yes, I went to San Diego. I know that's not like in that part of Cali, but I was just like in awe. I'm like, San Diego has so many beaches. You know, they got Mission Beach. They got Corona Beach. They have all of these different beaches. It's just a whole nother vibe. They got fire on the beach. I'm like, oh, I want to live here. The only thing that I don't like about Cali, which is one reason why I may not move there, and I had a shock, I had the shock of a lifetime, is the traffic. It said, and the food is yum. Facts. The traffic, Tea Time Beauty, listen, the traffic, listen.
Bruh.
The traffic, it was 2 accidents behind us on the first day. And the traffic is like no other traffic I ever seen in San Diego. I was like, the whole time I'm in the car, like, just praying we make it to the destination. Like, what the hell? I'm talking about, shoom, shoom, 3, 4, 5, 6 lanes. I'm like, so that's one reason why I may not ever move to San Diego. Just because of the traffic. I can't deal with it. I'd rather just visit and let my heart race a couple times for a couple days. But after that, I'm like, woo, it was fun. But the traffic, and yeah, they drive fast as hell. What the hell? Yeah. It's like, what? Where are y'all going? And just to have 2 accidents right behind you, where you almost into accidents, and you see the accidents behind you, like, I can't believe this. Driving, raising my blood pressure. They drive with their eyes closed or something in Washington. Yeah.
Oh my God! No! Oh my God!
That was me. I was like, oh my God, what are y'all doing? What is going on? You guys are doing too much. When I got to Cali, I was like, oh no, that's not what I was like.
Hey, settle down. Take it easy. What the scallop? How goofy goober?
Wrong sound. Not using any coping skills. I'm gonna get better. Road rage is real. Yes, the road rage in Cali. Listen, crashing out after work on my way home. I think everybody be crashing out in Cali, cause listen, and then the Uber drivers, they drive fast. Everybody just driving fast. I didn't even know you could drive so fast. I'm like, there's no police stopping y'all. Y'all just get to drive fast like the NASCAR drivers. I mean, it literally feels like NASCAR. And I'm like, y'all about to stress me out in Cali. So I love San Diego with that tiny disclaimer. So if you ever going to San Diego and you're driving and you come from a slower pace driving, like here in New York, the highest is 65. In Florida is 70. You said 80 miles per hour in LA is slow. I believe you. And they was like, oh, we want to go from San Diego to LA. By the time I got to San Diego to take a day trip to LA, hell no. I'm not going to have a heart attack on the road. It's like, no. I can't do it. Can't do it. I can't do it. And you know what? I really wanted to turn up in San Diego for my birthday this past February, but then I'm thinking, dang, I wanted this like soft life birthday. I wanted like peace and calm. And then I thought about the traffic. I was like, oh, hell no, I ain't going there. That would live rent free in my head. Want to go to LA? Oh, hell no. I was like, no, I'm good. Get me to the house. Every time we had like an excursion, because I'll plan these little trips and We went to like the San Diego Zoo, which was like far out. We went to, what is this, like, we did so much in San Diego. So I have all of these ambitious things on my itinerary and don't even think about the traffic. And it's like, oh my goodness. Dr. Sean, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get it together, girl. Get it together. So now when I plan, I'm very careful, very mindful. I gotta get a soundboard. Cause I spent like a whole minute trying to play a sound. I just thought about the helicopter. Yes! Oh! Listen, don't bring up the helicopter either.
You what?
Oh. Oh. That story would never get old. Listen, the helicopter. Oh, listen. Listen, I tried to erase the helicopter out of my mind. You were so cute and excited. Listen, I was so cute and excited when I was ready to go on the helicopter. Then you were like, what the hell? Yeah. Then I got on the helicopter. I was like, get me off of here. I will never do that again. I'm thinking this is gonna be soft girl era. You know, I'm in New York City. You know, everything is like dinner, looking cute. We're gonna go on the helicopter ride. That's why I said I will have the most lit itinerary. When I go on trips, the itinerary is on point. I wonder if the flight attendant remembers you. There was no flight attendant. It was just the pilot and the people who were, you know, tourists, right? But listen, after I got off the helicopter, y'all, I said, I'm never riding another helicopter. I was like, no. I'm like, no. The helicopter, even though I'm thinking this is going to be soft girl life, all this, when I got on the helicopter, I was like, what the hell? I didn't know that it was going to be like tornado, hurricane-like winds. And then we paid for the door to be closed, but I really wanted the door open. And I'm like, okay, we got the door open. This is what I want. We have to pay. Okay. And then, whew,
Just need a day between every day
after that,
to recover from day before,
I had to recover.
just so I can prepare for the day coming.
This is when it gets funny.
Guys,
And I get on the helicopter. You know, we flicking it up. You know me, I'm a picture queen. I love pictures. I'm just flicking it up. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm about to record. I got my camera, a little tripod. Boy, listen. The helicopter get in the sky. Snot flying, hair flying, my wig about to fly off. So I'm holding on to the wig like this, like, oh my God, I didn't glue the wig down, and I'm just like, you know, trying to look cute. I didn't have no pins, and the helicopter in the sky is. I'm holding my wig down, like the snot flying, the tears. It's not that I'm crying. It's so cold. This is February. I was like, what the hell? And then the pilot thought he was doing us a favor. He gonna give us an extra 10 minutes. I say, oh, hell no. Boy, I never prayed to be on the ground so bad in my life. So if you see the videos of me with my foot out the window, it's like me fighting against the wind to get my foot out the window because I'm like, I gotta get this video. But baby, listen, I'm never doing that again. When we touched the ground, I was like, never doing that again. If you want to know if I recommend you do the helicopter ride, it's absolutely a hell no. I think you can try everything once. If you do go, you know, don't wear a wig unless you got the lace glue. okay, don't wear the wig, because they don't let you keep your hat on, because your hat fly off, everything just fly off. I would have just worn my locks. If I had known, I would have just wore the locks and been okay. But to be on there with the wig, pulling it down like a hat, snotty nose, like, that just wasn't fun. And then I had the seat where I'm out the door, because this is where I want to be. I'm like, yeah, we finna be out the door. You think you finna be in the sky, like, with your foot out the door, just swinging, taking pictures, like, yeah. No, it's like, I'm like, this is not soft girl error. This is not giving soft girl. After that helicopter ride, I spent the whole day, Saturday, just sleeping, recovering. It's like, it sounds like the water park vibes. Oh, it was worse than water. It was like the worst thing ever, guys. And I'm not trying to, it's just that if you go, make sure you really warm. Make sure you go in the summertime. Like, just be careful. You need a green screen and a Photoshop, not the real thing. Exactly. I wanted the green screen version. I don't think I really wanted the real version. That's why I say a lot of times my trip, I'll be like, oh, we're going to San Diego, we're going to drive here, go here, and I get here and it's like NASCAR. It's like, what the hell? Why are y'all going 100 miles an hour? Why is everybody going 100 miles an hour? You know, you here in New York, you be like, okay, they going fast. Where they going? They must be in a rush. It must be an emergency. In Cali, everybody going 100. If you're going 80, like you said, it's like they from out of town. They going way too slow. And I'm thinking, dang, is the police gonna slow y'all down? Like, what is going on? Like, no. Got on the helicopter. Everybody in there cooling, but me, I'm in here just like, please get me down. I was just so distraught by that. That's why I know now I can't go bungee jumping. I can't jump out of a plane and go skydiving. I thought I could. I thought, one day I want to skydive. I'll pass. I think I did enough skydiving in that damn helicopter. And I ain't even holding you. That was the closest I'm ever gonna get to skydiving. Was that helicopter ride. And you reminded me of it. Listen, I had wiped that out of my brain, Tea Time Beauty. I was like, I'm just forgetting this moment. And then you brought it up because I said, I didn't want to go to Cali because of the soft life. And then I'm like, yeah, this year I did the soft life, but do you like amusement parks? Used to love them until I went to Miami, to the Children's Fair in Miami. I bought a pass to ride everything because as a child, I used to ride everything. My aunt used to take us to the fair, and I'm like the adventurous kid. If you can't tell, I'm an adventurous person. But as you get older, your body changes. Like, wait, I don't feel the same when I get on this roller coaster that I did when I was little. You were talking about being ambitious, and I was like, yeah, you on your B-Day? I'm on a ferry right now. Have a fun trip on the ferry. You headed back to the mainland. That is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, I wanted to forget that with all of me, because that's just too funny. That's too funny. My tablet is not working. That is so cool. What time is it there? It's like 4:30 in Cali. I'm having so much fun on here. Thank you for your company as always. No, thank you, Tea Time Beauty. 5:23 p.m. Thank you. If I ever come to Cali, we definitely gotta link up for sure. Especially Seattle too, because I've never been there. I want to visit. Listen, I done got completely sidetracked with this story. That is too funny. Oh, now I'm gonna have a nightmare about that helicopter. That's how bad it was. Like, if you ever see somebody like, yeah, we're finna go on a helicopter ride, and then you get off and they just like, oh, that was me. Nah, it's okay. I needed that reminder. And I'm over here laughing. Listen, I'm laughing at myself. Everybody who was with me probably was laughing like, you wanted to do this, and they having more fun than me, and I'm the one who wanted to go on a helicopter, and I'm the one like, please get me down. Please, pilot, get me down. And you can't even talk to the pilot. You have these earphones on. All you can do is listen. You can't say, hey, I'm struggling back here, about to lose my wig. You can't do that. They can't hear you. It's just like, you know how the helicopter sound. It's like, what? Was it loud? It was so loud. I mean, it was just like being in a tornado for real. It was just like wind, air, loud, just snot rolling, tears falling, like, because it was so cold. It just like, I don't know. All I know is I'm never doing it again. Opposite of soft girl. And why did I think I was gonna be up in the air like cute with the camera, like soft girl? So the next time I plan a trip, I need to be very careful not to do any adventurous things. But I'm thinking this is like light, like no, it wasn't light. It wasn't. So the next birthday, it has to be like on the beach, cause that way I know there's no helicopters, there's no traffic. You know, maybe I have to battle the sun, but that's the most battling I want to do. I don't want to battle the wind again. I did enjoy New York City. I can't lie. I always enjoyed New York City. Would I take it back? No. I'm happy that I had a chance to go through that crazy experience. I'm happy I did it, because I would have always wondered, dang, how does New York look from the helicopter? Even though I didn't even get to see New York because I was too busy like holding my wig down like this, like it just is bad, guys. It's bad. Anywho, so that's our live for today, Tea Time Beauty. I really appreciate you tapping in with me today. I hope you have a wonderful, rest of your evening. If you're watching this on the replay, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful remainder of your evening. Remember, trust the process through everything you go through. Even if you're on a helicopter like me, trust the process, do things that scare you, do things that are new, so that you have more experience, so you know what not to do. Like me, I know so much about things that I thought was good, even if it means like a vacation. I thought certain ideas was good, I did it and it wasn't. But I'm happy I had opportunity. Okay? I will be supporting you on YouTube this evening. Thank you for Hood to Hooded. This is a safe space here. We need it. I really appreciate that. So Hood to Hooded is, here to stay forever. Forever. That's why I'm happy we started this platform, this space, so people can have a safe place to learn, grow, fight colonization, learn about history. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to do like a history topic. Today, it was just, talking. But tomorrow, I want to tap into some history, because I haven't been talking about history lately. Because when I talk about history, I go deep and it gets very real. We touch on subjects that people don't really like to talk about. So I appreciate you, Tea Time Beauty, for tapping those hearts. As always, what time do you know? We got 7.6K hearts. Thank you. What time tomorrow? I'm going to aim for the morning time. I'm trying to really get my time down to have a solid time. I tried consistency at nighttime. That didn't really work. So right now, tomorrow will probably be in the morning. Either like 8 o'clock. Let's shoot for 8 o'clock in the morning. How about that? Alright? And if I do change the time, I will try to update my pages with the time, since I know that's very important. So if you have any suggestions for the podcast, Tea Time Beauty, I'm definitely working on the set time, because that's another thing that the chat said, hey, Dr. Sean, you need consistency in the set time so people know when you're going live instead of just popping up. So I'm going to work on it, y'all. I'm a work in process. We all are work in process. But I definitely want to take this podcast to the next level. So thank you. Great question. And I will see you tomorrow. I think 8 a.m. is 6 a.m. or 5 my time. Ooh, that's early for you. Do you get up that early on a Saturday? Have a good evening. You too. No, yeah, that is really early. So you'll watch it on the replay then. Yeah, watch it on the replay unless I can't sleep. Yeah, so watch it on the replay. I'll be live at 8. Of course, I'll drop all the shorts and, you know, etc., etc. I'm going to clock out of here for today. Y'all have a wonderful day. Yeah, well, a wonderful evening wherever you are. Thank you for the hearts, Tea Time Beauty. You the best. Hey, you the best. Bye, guys. Bye. I'll see you dancing on your page, Tea Time Beauty. I'm gonna see you turn it up. Love you more.
We are like, we glow, better let 'em know. We glow, better let 'em know. Sun hit the skin, watch the whole